All right, well, g'day guys, and welcome to the second week of the podcast. We have JP with us again. So, JP, how you going, mate?
Not too bad.
That's good. I got a bit of feedback on the first episode of the podcast. Apparently, we were a little bit boring and need to spice it up a bit this week. So, we'll start off with our results for the week. We're going to do that every week. Obviously, we're very transparent. So, last Saturday after the podcast, stinking day, 15.12 units down, unfortunately. Then Wednesday managed to salvage a couple of units, 1.45 units on Wednesday. So overall, not a great week. I mean, it's a bit ironic, as we were talking just before off air, that we did get our most subs ever last week. And then obviously a little bit of a disappointing week results-wise. I mean, nothing that we're worried about here. Yeah. We've seen it a number of different times since we've run the system. We'll have a few down days, but at the end of the day, we're making long-term profit. So, I mean, we can use Wednesday as like a nice little example. Wednesday we were down 2.5 units going into the last race, hit a 550 winner. You know, you end up in profit. So a good little example and a little tester for our followers who are new, understand not to jump off straight away. I mean, even if you look at our graph when we started introducing subs, you can see here just looking at some of the results, looking at -2, -4.7, -2. +4, -12, -2. So these people that started subs, you would have been down about 14 units early days. And then you look at it, the 2 weeks after that, we go +70 units. So,
yeah, I remember that was 1 week you went +70 units.
Yeah, that's it. Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday,
yeah.
+70. So,
I remember I was following as well, so it was a nice time.
Yeah,
and
I
remember I was in the chat and I could see a lot of people complaining after those kind of 4 or 5 bad days. And unfortunately, I also saw a lot of people say they're jumping off. And I don't know, did they actually unsubscribe from your service?
Yeah, definitely. We had a lot of unsubscribes. I mean, people don't. It takes a while to fully understand how it works and really grasp your head around. I mean, everyone's followed services and tipping for so long. Yeah. Lots of people don't realize you can win punting. So, they see a bad day or a bad week, and then this is the same as every other service in the jump off, and that's everyone's prerogative. Do whatever you need to do, but we can only stress so many times. The longer you follow, the more tips you follow. I mean, look at our graph. We'll put it on the screen. It just trends upwards. It's obviously going to have down days, same as every bloody investment.
Yeah.
People, I'm sure all these people are in crypto at the moment, and are you going to jump out now when it starts going down, or do you wait? So it's the same as every investment. We're not worried. We're looking forward to tomorrow. We've got a bunch of new subs this week, which is great. 50 or 60 new ones, even just over last night. So really excited to have them on board. Hopefully they're watching this and they understand if we do have a couple of down days or a dodgy week, it's not really anything to worry about. So yeah, profits long term. Looking forward to launching into it again this week. We might move on from that one now. And we did have a few questions come through on some of the polls. I'm not sure if you saw any of them. I guess one of the first questions was, why don't we jump off? We've kind of touched on it already, and maybe you could provide some insight. I mean, you have been in the match betting space for a while, and you understand kind of, the upside, downside, and long-term investments, and, how they all work. Maybe you could speak a bit to why they shouldn't jump off. Obviously, I'm selling the product, so it's probably nicer to hear from someone like yourself than from me as to maybe why people shouldn't jump off in the short term.
Yeah, so it all comes back down to upside versus downside, as you said. And essentially, if you can create some kind of edge where as simple as your downside is lower than your upside. So in your case, whenever your horse places, you're obviously getting a bonus back, which then reduces your downside because you're turning the bonus over time. And we spoke about this even in the initial podcast. Your graph's going to keep trending up, and it's very important that people take their goggles off of zooming in and actually zoom out. And I teach this in Hussla from day one, the first video in the Platinum Squad course. And it's all about that. That is the whole principle as to why any investment should win and does win. Not only in betting, in anything. If you can reduce your downside to the point where the upside is higher always, you'll always win. And unfortunately, people don't have the patience to actually zoom out, and they're too fixed on now and today and one tip. And they jump off, and then unfortunately they miss a week where you had 70 units. So in those people's case, they've gone -14, and then they've jumped off, for example, and then they stay at -14, whereas everybody else follows up 56 because they've got those 70 units. So there's a 56-point difference there.
Yeah.
And in the long run, that's huge.
Yeah.
And It also comes back to something we're going to talk about later in why punters always lose, and it's unit sizing. So if you're actually following your unit size, you shouldn't be hurt by a small downtrend, because if you are getting hurt, that means your unit size is too high. So
For sure.
I guess it comes back to initially following your rules, which you've clearly set out at the start, as to set a unit size that is relative and appropriate for you.
Yeah, I think that's a good point just to touch on as well really quickly, is that like we haven't just like made up,
Yeah.
these aren't random unit sizes, or like we're not just guessing what to put on each horse. Like it's all, that's what we've built. Like
Yeah, you've tested
we
a few
know
years,
we know when to put what unit, so when to go 1, when to go 1.5, when to go 2.
Yeah.
These are not guesses or gambles. Like this is, you know, we've done it. We've done all the data over a number of years. So this is why, you know, we tell you that like the longer you follow, the more you win. Like we're not just making that up. You look at the graph, like the reasons we're putting 2 units on some horses, half a unit on other. It's all strategic. Like it's all, we've done all the planning, all the testing. So yeah, I like the way that you speak about like limiting the downside and uncapped potential upside, because at the end of the day, you can hit 3, 4, 5 winners in one session, and your results just skyrocket. And even if you hit 5 losers in a row, you're only losing 5 or 6 units. Like that's capped.
Well,
but
you
if
can
you
look
hit
at
those
your
5,
result.
you hit those 5 winners, and it's through the roof.
And you can look at your results, and like I think what was your worst day ever on the weekend ever in the history of the system? Like what, 3 years? And minus 15 is your worst.
Yeah.
And you've had 3 days over 30.
Correct.
And if you look at the total amount of winning days on the graph, I think
it's a no-brainer.
it's
like,
just ridiculous.
And we're still yet to have a losing month. Like
well, 28 is the lowest.
I mean, it could potentially happen, but you know, we've worked on it for so long and tweaked it so many times. Like, I can't see us losing in a month. And if we did, on the off chance that we lost 1 month, like, I mean, we're already 6 months in.
The lowest month is 28, though.
Correct.
Like you're
28 profit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So 28 profit. And currently the total month I saw before is 36 units. So you're still hugely profit.
I mean, I'm not worried about losing a month. It's just, you know, you
just
want
the
to
timing.
make sure that these subs and these guys understand that.
And as much as we tell them through our service and your service that they need to keep following, if they don't actually get it and they're not accustomed to following that and sticking by it, it's very easy for us to say it, but for them to actually do it is another thing. So we understand that obviously people sometimes don't get it and it's hard for them to understand, but trust Tom when he says it works, and trust me when I say my systems work over time. It's really important that you actually have faith in it, because if you don't, you'll end up jumping off at the wrong time and missing every winner.
Definitely. I think that's probably a good segue as well into like the second most popular question on the polls was, why do punters never win?
Yeah.
Or why don't they win long term? And I think you're easily probably one of the smartest people I know with regards to this and talking to this, but I think just from my perspective, based on our system, the clear reason why is because everyone, and most of the people that unsub with us, even when we're winning, is because, you know, it's not making enough, or, you know, I don't have the time. And that's the thing, like basically everyone that punts, I've seen one of your videos, you talk about like the 3 reasons why they punt, but I feel like the majority of the people that are looking for a tipping service or something, the reason they're punting is because they want to make 10k tomorrow.
Yeah, they want to
on
chase
one
their loss, or
bloody 30 leg same game
100%.
multi. Like,
so that's patience.
Yeah, correct.
And quick fixes, and even like in investments, like we're going off topic, but like everybody wanted to find the next big crypto coin in the last 2 months, and unfortunately sometimes it doesn't end up that way. And even if they find that coin, they don't end up taking profit because nothing's big enough, and then they go back to square one and they've lost their money. So it's the same with punting. Like everybody doesn't want to follow a patient system. Instead, they want a $10 multi, which wins them 50k. Like, unfortunately, the odds are against you doing that stuff.
I've seen some of the hate on your videos as well.
On
and
TikTok,
on TikTok. I mean, like, people are commenting like, you know, you do you not gamble for fun? Like, I just like to put a punt on for fun, etc. And like, I mean, I myself, do I put on the same game multi? Yes,
I do as well, but it's purely for like account sustainability and keeping the bookies like
and it's something. I mean, sometimes if you're watching a neutral game, whatever. But the reason that I hate when people say it's for fun is because it's an excuse for when they continually lose. Correct. You know, it's fun, and losing isn't fun.
Nah.
You don't want to go play a social basketball game on a Tuesday night and lose. Like, nobody wants to lose. So that's a complete cop out. So, I mean, do people punt for fun? Yes, people punt for fun. If you go to the races, for example, you've had a few beers, you want to, you know, you got $100, sure, that's fine. But if you are punting for fun 5 times a week and losing every time,
no, that's
That's a great example. And yeah,
It's
so
not hard to win. Trust me. You just
correct.
need to follow.
There's
the
so many
right
ways that you can
instructions.
win, but
Yeah.
if you're just blindly putting on same game multis, even with zero research,
Yeah.
like you're not going to win that way. So I think why do punters never win? No structure, no systems.
Yeah.
There's no consistency with how much they bet.
That's a big
so
one.
if
Yeah.
you're having like a great day and you're up $500, the tendency for a lot of punters is, well, this is 500 I didn't have.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put $400 on the next race, take
Double it
100
up.
home,
Yeah.
and then when that $400 loses, you're like, fuck. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I only lost 400 that I won. But it's like, no, you just lost $400. So
You
that's
lost,
the
let's
classic
say,
example of the everyday punter.
It's consistent unit sizing. At the end of the day, punters aren't that bad at tipping. And I've said this through like a number of times. They're not that bad at tipping because you might tip 5 winners out of 10, but that 11th tip is a 10 unit play and it loses and you're back to square one. So if you kept your unit size at one amount and did that forever, as long as it's relative to your bankroll, you will probably come out close to even, or at worst maybe lose a few units.
Yeah, your results will be, if you
never
put
gonna lose
$100 on
100
every bet you've ever done,
Correct.
your results are going to be way better.
And we're
than
talking
if you
singles, we're not talking multis.
And then if you put $100 on every horse you've ever backed, for example, and then the days where you back 3 winners in a row, if you kept doing 100 as opposed to doing 500, 600,
Exactly.
your results will be so far better.
Yeah.
So why do punters lose?
And that comes back to
That's why.
upside downside, because when you're increasing that unit size or 5 timesing it, your upside is now higher, but then your downside is now higher as well. So
huge.
you're gonna
5
go
times
back
the
to-
downside
Exactly.
based on all your previous bets. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's obviously never going to win long term. And again, that feeds into like, we had a few people asking about those like 10K challenges, $100 to 10K,
Yeah.
where they
Bookies love
back
them.
like a $1.90 thing every day.
Yeah.
And it's like you need 100% strike rate
To keep going,
for 15
unless
tips,
you're taking money
which
off
is
the
like,
table.
like ridiculous, never going to work.
No
So
one can operate at 100%.
hopefully that answers some questions and clears a few things up around there. I mean,
Yeah.
if you guys have any other questions, shoot them through. But when we say why do punters lose,
That's
you
why.
and I have been in this space. You've been longer than me, but we've been in this space for ages. Why do punters lose? We've
Unit
basically
sizing,
summed it up there.
patience.
Definitely unit sizes and discipline, really.
Yeah.
Another question that came through, probably not super relative to yourself, but a lot of punters were still, especially the newbies, asking why we tip so close to the jump. It's a little bit hard to explain. I mean, what we've done is, obviously, like, some people are saying, oh no, you guys just back market movers, etc. And sometimes the tip that we tip ends up being the market mover. But what we need for our system is the more data that we have, the more analysis. So, for example, why we might like horses 10 a.m. Saturday morning, right? For race 5. The reason we don't tip them at 10 a.m. Saturday morning is for so many factors that can happen between 10 a.m. and the start of the race. So, for example, what if it starts raining? What if the track's front leader bias? Like, what if a jockey gets injured in race 3, a gun jockey is not riding that horse? Like, there's no need to tip the horse at 10 a.m. Saturday. So we want to eliminate all external factors as best we can and use everything that we have to our knowledge to nail the tips that we post. Hence why we post them 2 to 3 minutes before the jump. And again, we understand that's not for everyone, but the reason that we are so successful and we'll stand by this forever is because the closer we tip to the jump, the more information we have. We can eliminate every other risk that's factored in. And some people are saying, oh, you're not getting the price at 10 a.m. And that's fine, but the way that we've worked it out, we've tipped at 10 a.m. We've tipped 2 minutes before the jump. 2 minutes before the jump works better for us.
Do whatever works.
So I mean, again, I don't know how many times we can explain it, and I understand it's not for everyone, and that's fine. If it was for everyone, there'd be 20,000 people following us tomorrow. There's 300, and that's fine. But I mean, you can keep asking questions, but it's kind of we've worked out why we tip so close to the jump. That's why the system works. The good news or the bad news now, I mean, I know a lot of our followers are in Melbourne and we've gone into a lockdown now. So luckily for us, not breaking any rules here. We've got the singles bubble and we're within 5Ks, so don't have to worry about that. Don't report us to the authorities. But with the lockdown, I mean, what are you going to do now on a Saturday? If you're a punter on a Saturday and a Wednesday, you're not going out with the kids. Like, you're not going out for brunch. You're not going to the gym. There's no footy. If there's ever a week that you're going to take advantage of, and we're right now running a 2-week free trial for basically everyone. Unless you're already a subscriber. So, I mean, be a great week, maybe if it extends, fortnight to jump on and try us out.
I mean, obviously the system that you've created doesn't work over just 1 week, but it's a good way to see at no cost how it works. and I've encouraged it through Platinum as well and my community to go and try it because I know it works. And I hate any gambling that doesn't work. And the best thing about your system is I can put my faith in it and actually send people down that path because I have no problem sending them there because I know it works.
Yeah.
And there's no other service out there that I would recommend that works long term.
No, well, we say that as well, tongue in cheek, to a few of our followers who sometimes get a little bit grumpy and, you know, they're like, oh, like this is like every other service, or, you know, I'll run my own NBA service or whatever. And it's like, mate, if you run a profitable service, send it to us and we will follow.
Like I'll employ them if
correct.
If
we are all ears. If anyone has a profitable service
100%.
that works for more than a week, please send it to us because we will
month,
jump
2
on.
months,
we want to make money. It's tax free. Get us involved. So I mean, that's pretty much, I think, based on the poll and what needed to be discussed this week from a Trumpy's Tips, the system perspective. I don't know if you have anything that you want to discuss from your end this week or anything that you noticed or anything like that.
Just so, like, obviously I launched a couple of TikTok videos this week and caused a bit of ruckus on TikTok and kind of a lot of people hating on me. And I have a little bit of intention to that because I put stuff out that is going to challenge people and hit them in the heart basically with the truth of like them losing and donating every single week to bookies, and that's intentional. But at the same time, it's out there to target, to get people get in their own heads basically, and to get them thinking more about gambling and how to actually win, because it's not that hard. Like, we've created systems and methods. You've got a system that works, and we live in Australia, which is the worst gambling country in the whole world per capita, and it's really sad. So we want to keep having that impact, whether it be through TikTok, through podcasting, whatever, to keep getting people starting to think about and getting onto these methods so that the bookies start losing. I know we're not going to suddenly change them all tomorrow, but if we can keep making dents into it, and this week is a prime example. If you're doing nothing on Saturday, I mean, go and follow this. Go and do our free course. Like, you're going to learn shit. Like, it's a no-brainer. Like, it's free. Go and like,
side income.
Challenge you. Like, if you don't get anything out of it, like, I'll pay you for wasting your time, even though it's free. Because, like, we've seen so many people come through and be like, man, like, what have I been doing for so long?
Yeah, it's a good one as well, because like even in lockdowns or anyway times of uncertainty, like these people now, especially people that work casually or whatever, you might not have work for 2-3 weeks. So why not, you know, put in a couple of hours and potentially learn to make another side income, or make it your primary income for the next 2-3 weeks if we're locked down for ages.
Very easily done.
Yeah, so that's a great point. Actually, I didn't think of that.
And the bookies are actually going to be like, unfortunately, the way they work is they're we call them dogs, and we don't like them because they just cash in on the vulnerable. Like, they're posting massively through like all socials about bet with your mates, like sports bet and all that stuff. And I put out a big one the other week, and it went viral. And like, it's sad. So instead of going down that path, how about you take it the other way and beat them and take advantage of the shit that they're giving us? So
definitely.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'd like to finish.
When you speak to Australia being like the worst gambling country per capita, I think the easiest way to explain that to a normal person, even if they don't bet, is like, think about whenever you're watching any sport game, any YouTube video, anything, what ads are you seeing? Yeah. Just gambling.
Yeah,
like,
it's everywhere.
It is full on everywhere. You watch
footy
any
matches
footy show,
at half time, like
any footy show, anything, like they'll cross to cross to Daisy Thomas at PointsBet or Nathan Brown at SportsBet. Like, the amount of money in this industry that these guys are making off just your everyday person is crazy, and that's why they're investing so big in all these ads, running all these promos. So there's never been a better time that if you can switch on, follow one of these. There's never been a better time to be a switched on 100%. Punter than right now. So
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see an influx in people doing the free course during lockdown. That'd be great for them. We as well, when people are following our system, we encourage them to use your free course or even your platinum course, because if they learn how to convert the bonuses, you become bulletproof. So
I agree.
I mean that's great. Week 2 done, I guess. I know I'm certainly keen to continue doing this on a weekly basis, assuming that you're free. I know the followers are getting a lot out of this now. A lot of people also message me saying it's nice to see a couple of faces behind you know what we're running. It's not just robots. It's not a scam. Yeah, people really enjoy, you know, human to human people, contact and communication, I guess.
Yeah. I think as well, to help us with our content, I don't even know what this podcast is, whether it's going to be a Trumpy thing or a Hussla thing. We're just going to keep doing it weekly. We'll call it whatever. But the more feedback and actual questions that we get from you guys is going to be really important to help us with content in the future. And we'll keep doing like polls. You're doing polls
For sure.
through the Trumpy channel. But more specific questions, even if you head over to the TikTok, Bet Kingdom, it's called, ask a question on there, I'll answer it. Like we just want to keep educating and getting this content out there and help everyone.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, it started off as us, we just wanted to kind of reach out to our followers, and then we just thought, we may as well get you on board as well. You can reach out to yours, keep summarising our results, and then go from there. I mean, if people want us to discuss anything regards to beating the bookies, general punting advice, we're happy to talk about it. We like to talk. So, I think we'll wrap up today here. Good to see you, mate, and see you again next week.
Yep, see you later.
See you guys. Cheers.